What's up, everyone, and welcome to Rate My Tone. I know. Remember back in the day I had something called Guess That Tone, where I, checked out your clips and I tried to guess what you were using. And at the end, it totally went bananas, and everyone was using XFX and Kempers, and it's just not fun anymore, man. But I figured let's just go back to that, because I still like to check out your music and your tones. So I figured let's do a Rate My Tone video segment where I check out your videos and your tone, I'll listen to it, and then I'll rate it and maybe give you pointers on what you can do to improve the tone. How about that? Amazing. So how does this work? How does one send me this? Well, make a YouTube clip of your favorite guitar tone with you playing so I can check it out, and that's it. Post a link in the comment section of this video, and maybe I'll check it out in the next video. But to start off, I made a post on Facebook and you guys posted a couple of videos there. So I'm gonna start off with rating those. And before I start, I just wanted to say a very important thing before people cancel me. And that is that tone is subjective, I have my preferences when it comes to guitar tone, and I'm deeply rooted in the 90s, 90s metal and how guitar tones were during the 90s and beginning of the 2000s, basically. So obviously, what I'm hearing might not be exactly what you're experiencing when hearing this. So let me know in the comment section. Am I wrong? Write it down. And, whatever. And the pointers that I will give will be from my experience, and, I'm just trying to adapt to whatever the video is giving me, okay? So let's try this out. Cut me some slack. Shit. Let's just start. We're starting with Josh Castle. And this is a Rammstein cover. Let's listen. What is it? It's a long intro. What is he using? ESP and drop D. Reamps on Kemper profiles. Okay. Okay, so I'm not sure if he's using like a Kemper profile that is meant to sound like Rammstein or something like that, but it's not a bad tone, I would say. It fits the music, and Rammstein has, at least earlier Rammstein had this really more fizzy sounding guitar tone, and then when they, released, so what was the album? The one with the song America on it, and Rammstein became way more organic sounding. That's where they started to sound real in the guitar tones. While on the earlier albums, they were really more industrial sounding. This tone right here is very industrial, and for what it is, it works, because it is Rammstein. Personally, I don't think this is a necessarily thick guitar tone. This is very scooped in a way. There's a lot of high end. It's a very thin guitar tone that, I guess it fits the song, if anything, as the cover. But I promise you, if you listen to this without the mix, the guitar tone would sound incredibly thin. So that's also a balance you have to think about, the tone in a mix versus the tone when you're just sitting and playing. Because you also have to think about the bass and all that. I wouldn't mind having a little bit more warmth to the sound, if you understand what I'm saying. And with warmth, I mean like 250 hertz, something like that. A little ugliness to it. Wouldn't hurt, just saying. And that's Josh Castle. Okay, I'm gonna rate the tone, and I'm not gonna give it a 6 out of 10 like I did with Guess That Tone. That just became another thing. I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10. Okay? Thank you. Up next we have Chris Liu with Arch Enemy, Under Black Flags We March guitar cover. Okay, let's check it out. Okay? What is he using? Bogren Digital. Mower GE200 with Bogren Digital impulse responses. My guess, okay? And Bogren Digital, I don't know if you know about this, but it's Jens Bogren, famous producer, Swedish producer. They released an impulse pack with a lot of like classical metal albums that he was a part of, and one of them was Arch Enemy. So this is probably an Arch Enemy impulse response for this album, probably. My guess. And the thing with these impulse responses is that, they're mix ready. So they're meant to, make the guitar sound fit in a mix. So just as with the previous example with the Rammstein cover, it's sort of thin sounding because, you know, in the mix it also has the bass and all of that. You know, you have to be a little careful not to make it too warm because it's going to take over the mix. I must say that the tone itself works really well. It sounds like Arch Enemy type of tone, which is, I mean, obviously he's using the correct guitar for this. And just as with the other example as well, if you just would take away the music, it would probably be a very thin tone. But you have to understand that that's a balance you have to find when you're, you know, mixing in a band and all that. Just saying, just so you remember this. This might not be the best tone you would have when you sit and just jam at home by yourself, but it fits better in the mix. Well done, man. That's Chris Liu right there, and the performance was great too. Thank you. All right, Only the Dead Are Smiling, guitar playthrough. Okay. Okay, I like this. This is more up my alley where, you know, the tone is kind of low, mid, heavy, and maybe lacks a little bit of the high end. This tone right here just sounds, you know, real. It sounds like a mic'd amplifier. What is it? That's an Englund E530. That's the preamp angle and an amp sim. So Cerberus bass sim. Okay. I think this tone sounds pretty good. Oh shit! I forgot to rate. I'm already fucking this up. I didn't even rate the Arch Enemy guy. What's this? I will rate the Arch Enemy guy 6 out of 10. Okay, great. And here, I will rate this a 7 out of 10. But if I were you, I would probably add some high end, maybe somewhere around 5,000 to 6,000 hertz, just to give it a little bit more, make it sound a little bit more expensive. That's the expensive range down right there. Just add a little sizzle, you know? Otherwise, I think it sounds pretty good. Next up, we have the Guitar Collective, the Ultimate Les Paul.
I trade all the others away.
Okay, Slam of God. Okay, I think this guitar tune is better at least than the intro right here. This sounds a little scooped, maybe, but obviously, like here, it sounds like a real guitar. Oh, is the pickup switch shifted? This is the neck pickup, he said, but it's turned down. And this is the bridge pickup? Where it's up? Is that how it's supposed to be wired? Not too bad of a tone. I think maybe a little safe, if that's a thing. Like if you watch any of my videos, you're probably aware that I have a lot of bass on my guitar tone because, you know, bass is kick-ass, you know. I like, it would be nice to have a little bit more bass, just saying. A little, you know, make it feel a little like your balls are moving a little bit. But I like the tone. This is definitely like a 6 out of 10 right here. Well done. All right, from Justus Gash. Hola, my tone best rig demo. What is this? A Pyromancer Fuzz Simp FX Pyromancer Drive. Marshall Origin 20H rank clean. Tube expander running into interfaces. We're seeing a lot of impulse responses. It's just easier to record that way than to mic up an amplifier in a cabinet. He has basically everything on max except for scoop and stoke. I think this would work really well with a little bit like older type metal. That's necessarily not be modern metal. It's not really chugging or anything. It's just like a solid distorted tone, I would say. It's thick and nice, but there's no real like edge, if you understand what I want to say. But other than that, 6 out of 10, man. Sounds pretty good. Like if I would plug into this, I would probably use like a driver in front of this just to tighten up the sound a little bit. Thank you. So there you go. Those were the submissions for this week. If you have any submissions, please let it be more amplifiers and, you know, mic'd up cabinets and whatnot. It's nice that you guys are sending me stuff, but, you know, most of the stuff is basically neural DSP or, you know, same impulse responses that I've heard before. It would be nice to have the real thing in there as well. You know, a real amplifier, a real cabinet, and a real microphone. And I think it would just make things a little bit more exciting. But thank you to all the guys that participated in this week's Rate My Tone, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.